We want the Israeli government to know that they can't justify what they're doing in the name of Jewish safety and Jews across the globe now.
The message that Hamas is trying to give to the world, that Jewish blood is cheap. And this has sparked tension and the feeling of anti-Semitism.
If you lift the Palestinian flag or you're there to say something in support of Palestinians, you're already labeled anti-Semitic, which is so not true.
I'm making a sign for our demonstration in Parliament Square. I'm Imi and I'm a campaigner with Namod, which is a Hebrew word which means we will stand. We're made up of Jews in the UK and we aim to end the occupation in Israel-Palestine. When violence happens in Israel-Palestine, it affects Jews in the UK and it affects Palestinians in the UK. And I think right now we're all feeling a mixture of like grief, terror, horror. It's awoken things in our history. Seeing violence on that scale against Jewish Israelis has made people horrified. But what a lot of British Jews are feeling right now is how dare the Israeli government take what has just happened to justify something even more horrifying. I think also a lot of Jewish people, don't know how to express Palestinian solidarity because some people want to keep us as separate and like we're on opposing sides. We reject that there are sides. What Palestinian civilians and what a lot of Israeli civilians want is to stop being killed and for an end to violence. We would say that we should all be on the same side, and that side should be trying to strive for an end to this occupation. We're in Parliament Square now. We have a huge turnout, which is great. I think this hopefully shows that there are a lot of British Jews that just won't stand for what, war crimes the Israeli government is committing right now.
The horrific events of October 7th and the indiscriminate targeting of Israeli civilians cannot be justified. However, Hamas's deplorable actions did not come out of nowhere. There's been a blockade on Gaza for 17 years and a structure of military occupation and apartheid for more than 50. Stop the genocide, cease fire now, release the hostages, end the siege on Gaza. Thank you very much.
I'm hoping for a future where there's no occupation, where Israelis and Palestinians can be equal and that there's no more violence. And it feels like that is hard to get to, but the fact that we're here shows there are people that believe that we can get there.
Because the narrative of Hamas and terrorists is that Jewish blood is cheap and we can kill, many people who deep down don't necessarily love Jews, this sentiment comes to the surface. Here in Golders Green, many Jewish people are fearful. There's a very big Jewish community here. So you've got the Jewish community centers, you have the synagogues, kosher food stores, you pretty much got everything here. People do shout out anti-Semitic slogans and stuff to people. I have children traveling on public transport, and there's even kids saying anti-Semitic stuff to them. The Jewish community centers all have security protocols in place, but it is a fear that people have. Okay, so this part of the center is our synagogue, and over here we keep our Torah scrolls. So I'll just open up the curtain over here. So every week we read one part of the Torah. So the day the atrocities happened in Israel was a day of celebration. We concluded reading the whole Torah, and that was the day they chose to kill, murder children and adults and babies and old people. Then we had to make a decision what we're going to do. So when we hear here in London what's going on in Israel, to our brothers and sisters over there, the pain is really intense. We're taught that the Jewish nation are one unit. It's a bit like twins. Where one is depressed, the other one feels it. Where one twin is being upbeat, that will have a positive effect. So we decided we're going to go for positive energy. Hamas, the terrorist organization, are not so concerned about homeland, territory. They want to kill Jews. That's their agenda. They want to kill Jews. So this narrative of genocide in Gaza is part of the Hamas propaganda machinery to incite the world against Jews. Because as far as they're concerned, Jewish blood is cheap. Jewish blood is not worth anything. But any person who considers himself as a human being understands that the IDF, the State of Israel, has to protect himself from this happening again.
This was one of the first demonstrations that we went to, and actually the sense of community was overwhelming, and the number of people that joined the demonstrations was incredible because it wasn't just Palestinians, it wasn't just Arabs, it wasn't just Muslims. We felt that we are supported by the people, even though we don't feel supported by the government. And this was an interview with one of the reporters at the demonstration.
To live in peace, we want to live in dignity, and we want to live without the occupation. Here they're always saying Israel is a democracy. Which democracy in the 21st century occupies a whole nation of 4 to 6 million people?
My name is Sausan Asfari. I'm on the board of the USMAP, which is a small think tank that deals with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. My mother's Palestinian and my father's Lebanese, but of course we're British now. We were in London and watching TV when we heard the announcement about the Hamas attack on Israel. When we heard about the atrocities committed, I could think of now the extreme revenge is going to take its toll on the Gaza residents. We condemn any killing of any civilians anywhere. But I think the price being paid by the Gaza people now is just too high. The Palestinian community here has been very affected. They're very emotional. As I said, they're very upset. But they also feel the need that they need to support each other and they need to speak out. I mean, I know there is anti-Semitism in Europe, but also the Arab community is worried and scared. If you lift a Palestinian flag, if you carry a Palestinian flag, or you dare to say something in support of Palestinians, you're already labeled anti-Semitic. Even calling for a ceasefire is meant to be anti-Semitic, which is so not true. With the demonstrations, it's been actually quite heartwarming to see the huge turnout that's coming. And this is humanity appealing to Israel, to the government, to have a ceasefire, to find a solution to the Palestinian cause. I think at the moment in the UK and everywhere else in the world, passions are running very high. I think to close this division, we need actually good leadership on both sides, maybe leaders in the Jewish community, whether they're hardline or moderate, in the Palestinian community, in the Muslim community, to bring people together on the human factor of the conflict. This is where we can bridge that huge gap, which may be difficult at this moment, but I think going forward, it's the only way to try and get communities together and to get them to see what is the end game for this conflict.